I was on GMFB last week. It was College Colors Day. And when asked about Boston College legends, well, a certain story from my days at my alma mater came to mind involving the most legendary Eagle of all, Doug Flutie. We're running game, okay? Me and four of my buddies. We win a couple of games, and all of a sudden Flutie comes over. He's like, hey, we got next. So he comes out with four members of the Boston College women's basketball team playing against me and four of my hungover friends. So it's competitive, okay? We're up 9-8. You're playing to 11. People are waiting to run game here. Flutie's throwing himself alley-oops off the backboard and all this kind of stuff. This is right after he had signed a new contract with the Chargers. So shot goes up. I'm over there I had switched on to Flutie because I was worried my buddy Feeney was going to injure him because he was trying to guard him in the game, and he's, a little bit uncoordinated. So I switch on to him. Shot goes up, hits the back of the iron, Jamie. You know this. Ball hits the back of the iron, goes straight up, right?
Yeah.
So I had jumped for it. I come down on Flutie's shoulder.
Ooh.
Can feel him kind of give me a little side eye, like, all right, the ball bounces back out. Another shot goes up. Flutie elbows me as hard as he can in the ribs. I go off dry heaving onto the baseline, like, and nothing, kept it clean. But I had to come out of the game. Another guy went in. We lost 11-9. And we are joined now by none other than Doug Flutie, who is kind enough to join us here on The Insiders with me, Tom Pelissero. That's Ian Rappaport. That's Judy Batista. Doug, I can see you got a Heisman Trophy behind you, okay? You're an absolute legend in college football, the CFL. You played a long time in the NFL. I understand where, in my mind's eye, as like a 19, 20-year-old kid, playing against an NFL quarterback is probably a lot more memorable than you playing against five moron college sophomores at that time. But I'm very curious, do you have any recollection whatsoever, and also any thoughts on how I was describing the intensity of those pickup games at the Recplex?
I really don't remember this specific game. Out of the 875,635 pickup games that I've played in my life, he was the one that caught an elbow. I don't know. I don't know if he's complaining that a old man beat him up or that he was beat by a bunch of girls. So I don't recollect. I did used to play a lot of pickup ball. It did get competitive. I did love playing with the girls from the women's team. Knew how to play basketball. They pass, they shoot, they rebound, they do everything. So it sounds authentic. It sounds for real that game went on. I don't specifically remember. But, when it's time to win, it's time to win, right? I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you what happened.
So I would like to hear more stories about Tom getting elbowed and losing games because that sounds fun to me. But when I was in Boston covering the Patriots, I played in a wood bat league, an over 30 wood bat league. And I always heard that you and your brothers were like the best in the league and that you would make the All-Star team and you guys would dominate. Now, I never, unfortunately, made the All-Star team. So one, was that true? And two, how often did you have to deal with people like, let's just say, for example, Tom, trying to give you a little extra just because of what you had done in your pro career?
We continue. Actually, my brother Bill still plays in the leagues. I play with that group of guys. We go to tournaments and still play once in a while in the over 50 bracket just for fun. I've had more than my share of brushbacks with pitches, guys trying to take you out at second base. It just seems like, and I remember having this conversation with Terry Bradshaw once. Terry said, "Why do you do this stuff? You're just giving people a story on it." It's like, oh, I struck out Doug Flutie, or I hit him with a pitch, or I love it's. I'm not great at going to the gym and working out. I like activity, and that's how I stay in shape and enjoy. And I still enjoy. We go to these tournaments. I'm playing second. My younger brother's playing short. My older brother's playing third, and we're playing baseball together. I'm 60 years old, and it is a blast to still just walk out. There we go. That's my brother Bill at third. Oh. I think I'm there at short, and my younger brother has moved over to second base since his arm's not good anymore.
All right, Doug, I have a bad Doug Flutie memory, too. You've got the Heisman right over your shoulder there. It's almost the 40th. It's almost the 40th anniversary of the Hail Mary in the Orange Bowl. I was there. I'm a Miami Hurricane. I remember it, I'm sure, much differently than you do. How often does that place still get brought up with you?
You know, it's an icebreaker. For anyone that's uncomfortable approaching me or someone that wants to talk to me, it's the icebreaker and they bring it up. I'll tell you what, it still brings a smile to my face. We're coming up on the 40th anniversary of it. People are making a little more of a deal of it this year. The bottom line is that Gerard still, and you see it there, made an unbelievable catch. The two defenders had a chance to touch the ball. They bump into each other. It comes through, and he had a fraction of a second to see it, and he made an unbelievable catch. It is something that, at least, you know, I say this, at least I have a play or two in my career that people remember. You know, most of us get forgotten and we move on with our lives. They have this moment that they remember that signifies my career.
So you're joining us from down there in Florida, Doug. Like you said, you're a very active guy. Well, what are you up to these days, and how much football are you still consuming?
I'll tell you, I am a very passive spectator when it comes to football. I did watch the BC win the other night. They looked great. Most of my time is spent playing golf or surfing. I get up in the morning and look to surf. I was telling you guys the story. I had my two little nieces out, and they're 12. One's 10, one's 14. And I was pushing them in the waves. I went out for about an hour and a half, pushing them in the waves, trying to get them to catch waves. And I'm out there wading in the water, waist to chest deep. Well, after they go in, I take my board and I paddle out. And sure enough, as soon as I get out there, I see a bunch of bait fish in the wave, and a little 5-foot blacktip shark decides to come visit for a while and hover around me for about a minute and a half. And it stayed surfaced. Like usually you see them for a split second and they disappear. This one surfaced and hung out for a while. I don't even think it knew I was there. I think it was more or less it was chasing the fish around me. But eventually it took off and everything was cool and I got to catch my waves.
Well, that's completely horrifying, and I'm glad that you're okay. And I'm sure
you get used. I don't know. You get used, especially being in Florida. You get used to seeing them, and usually it's not, 12-foot bull. Well, we do get bull sharks, but it's not great whites and bull sharks. It's mostly smaller sharks.
I want to take this in a different direction. Talk about some news that just dropped a couple hours ago. I guess Bill Belichick went on the Pat McAfee show and confirmed that he has now joined Instagram, or Instaface as he calls it.
Instaface.
You know Bill Belichick well. Yep. You played for him. You know him as well as anyone. I guess my question to you is, what is this world coming to and what do you think of this?
I think the problem is now that is how, especially retired athletes, it's a nice retirement program, being popular online, whether it's through that or cameos or other things online. Bill, I never thought would join. Bill fought it. He didn't want to be on Instaface. He didn't want to be on My Face, as he put it. But he's going to have to move on from coaching and do some TV or do whatever he's going to do. And part of that deal is having followers. The younger generation doesn't even know who you are unless you have over 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, millions of followers. I don't know. It's a different world. I can't explain it. I have a Instagram page. I have about 50,000. I don't put much of an effort into it. Right. I just do it because in order to do the commercials you do and things of that nature, you have to have a social media platform.
Doug, I just want to ask you one quick question about the game today. Who are the quarterbacks you like to watch in the game right now?
I love watching Patrick Mahomes. I love watching the athletic guys, Baker Mayfield, anyone that can run around and make plays, because it makes me feel like I could still play the game. The offenses today are very similar to what we were doing when I was playing in Canada. And I get very jealous. Yeah. I get jealous of the guys who can stay with the same team for a long period of time and build an offense. But I get very jealous of the smaller guys and athletic guys now that are playing, because the offense really suits their skills rather than, the square peg and a round hole thing. So I get a little jealous from that standpoint, but I love watching it. And I love seeing them, Mahomes will just drop down side, whatever the situation calls for, whether it's dropping down, throwing sidearm, a jump pass, the scramble and hang on to the ball, whatever. And those are the types of things that I liked to do and pretty much got criticized for doing back then, but it's just fun for me to watch now.
You're ahead of your time. There's no doubt about it. And it's interesting, too. This segment began, Doug, with a story about you at age 38 or so, kicking my ass when I was 20. Then seeing that photo of you shirtless on the surfboard. You're 61. I'm pretty sure I'm 43, and you can still kick my ass now. So somewhere at a Recplex, I hope we get another chance here. You round up the women's basketball team. I'll round up my buddies. And, hey, thanks a ton for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it.
So much fun, and thanks for the memory. And, hey, go BC now, huh? Maybe the Eagles are going to make some noise this year.
Oh,